Have you ever gone to bed at night telling yourself, starting tomorrow, I'm going to change everything? You want to start exercising, study properly, learn a new skill. But when tomorrow comes, it feels like you're the same old person. You had a bit of motivation, but halfway through, it just vanished into thin air. I get that feeling. Because we live in a world where everyone's chasing big things, big success, huge change, fast progress. But the truth is, those big things are made from small, repeated actions. If I'm going to tell you one important truth, it's this. Small daily actions often matter way more than sudden bursts of motivation. What does that mean? It means someone who spends just 5 minutes a day working toward a goal will reach it way faster than someone who only puts in 5 intense hours when they feel pumped, then quits. There's a famous quote from James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, that goes, "We grow up to the level of our systems, not our goals." Goals are great, motivation is good, but what truly builds you are the tiny things you do every day. If you want real change, look for a small, consistent step, not a flashy leap. For example, if you want to learn a language, you don't have to binge watch 2 hours of English videos all at once. Just start with 10 minutes of a simple podcast. It's the start that matters, not the intensity. Now, you might say, okay, but I get tired fast, I get bored, and I quit halfway. That's where the fun part of the story begins. Let me tell you a very special story. In The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, there's a line that's stuck in my mind for a long time. The fox tells the little prince, "If you come every day at the same hour, I will be happier an hour before you come." Don't just see it as a poetic sentence. It's the power of repetition and consistency. Even feelings form through routine and persistence. When you do something every day at a set time, your brain starts to link that time with a good feeling. Or here's another story from nature. You know, a tiny drop of water, even though it's so small, if it falls continuously, it can drill through a rock? That's not a myth. It's real. In geology, there's a term called weathering. It means when wind or water slowly and continuously hit a hard surface like a rock, over time they wear it down, shape it, even break it. And that shows us that real power isn't in intensity, it's in persistence. Right now, your body is full of examples that prove how small but repeated actions make a big impact, like muscle growth. If you go to the gym today and lift weights for 3 hours, you won't see any change. But if you spend just 10 minutes a day, consistently and with the right plan, in a few months, you'll see results with your own eyes. Physiology proves this. Our bodies respond better to small, consistent changes than to big, occasional ones. Here's an amazing quote from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, where Dumbledore says, "It is our choices that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities." And if you pay attention, most of our daily choices are those tiny little things we hardly notice. Choosing to wake up 5 minutes earlier, choosing to read a line from a book instead of scrolling Instagram, choosing to send a kind message to a friend. These small choices slowly shape who you are. Here's a cool scientific fact. A study from MIT showed that when a small behavior is repeated every day, the neural pathways in your brain get stronger. That means the small action becomes easier and more automatic over time. So, now that you understand how important and powerful these small daily actions are, let's talk about how you can actually fit them into your life and turn them into strong habits. Step 1. Build a system, not just set a goal. A lot of times, we only set goals, like I want to work out, or I want to study better, but we don't have a clear plan or a proper system. James Clear in his book Atomic Habits says, "Setting goals is good, but what makes change stick is designing the right systems and daily habits." So instead of saying, I want to be better, say, every morning I stretch for 5 minutes, or every night before bed I read 5 pages of a book. Step 2. Use the 2-minute rule. This rule says, whatever you want to start, just do it for 2 minutes. For example, if you want to write for just 2 minutes. If you want to study, read your book for just 2 minutes. Most of the time, those 2 minutes get your brain ready to keep going, and the action turns into a habit. A famous psychologist, Willpower, has proven that starting small lowers your brain's resistance and makes the task easier. Step 3. Change your environment. Here's an interesting scientific point from The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Habits are built in your environment. So, if you put a book somewhere at home where you often check your phone, you're more likely to read it. Or if you want to eat less junk food, just keep those snacks out of reach. Arrange your environment so your small actions become easier. Step 4. Reward yourself. Psychology says the brain's reward system is super important. When you do a small task, give yourself a little reward, like listening to your favorite song or looking at a beautiful picture. That way, your brain learns this new behavior is valuable and pleasant, and it wants to do it again. Now, let me share an interesting quote from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice that you might not think is related, but it really is. Slow and steady change always wins more than sudden excitement, right? Real life is just like that. No sprint race. Let's take another scientific example from nature. Bamboo trees show no visible growth for several years, but their roots are very active underground, actually getting ready. After 5 years, suddenly they grow super fast. This shows that hidden growth and strong foundations lead to big success. With this view, you see that if you do one small thing every day, at first you might not feel the change, but over time, its impact is huge. Now that you know the steps, here's a very important point. How do you fight negative thoughts and distractions to keep these good habits going? First, accept that our minds naturally go for comfort and tend to be lazy. This is normal and biological. But, as James Nestor says in Breath, the New Science of a Lost Art, the brain is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. So think of your focus and willpower like a muscle you have to work out. The simple trick is, when you notice your mind wandering or want to quit, just resist for 10 seconds and then get back to your task. Research shows that when people do small tasks repeatedly, the brain's focus areas become more active, and over time, distractions decrease. So, don't get discouraged if it feels hard at first. Finally, a key to success: patience and consistency. When you do a small task every day, tell yourself, this is a long journey, but it's worth it. As it says in Deep Work, the ability to focus deeply is one of the rarest and most valuable skills of our time. So to build this skill, you have to take small steps. If this video inspired you, please hit like and subscribe so we can continue this journey of growth together. I'm waiting for your comments. Tell me what your first small step was and how you plan to start. And don't forget, you might be underestimating yourself right now, but I truly believe there's someone amazing sitting behind this screen, someone who just needs to start. You don't have to be a hero. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to move a little forward every single day. If any of this hit home for you, if you felt like something inside you started to wake up, then you've got to check out part 1 of this video. That's where we talked about the roots of real change, how even the simplest actions can rewire your mind. I promise, there's stuff in there you haven't heard before.